Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be?
The WNBA conversation has sparked a wave of online debate after Angel Reese suggested she could eventually surpass Caitlin Clark, one of the league's biggest stars, with fans quickly reacting and weighing in on everything from on-court competitiveness to sideline moments to broader salary discussions. And the reaction online has been extremely intense.
Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor. Plain and simple.
Some fans find it hard to accept the idea that she believes she has what it takes to eventually surpass Clark, the player currently making histories every season. Critics argue that much of the attention around Reese so far has come from spotlight moments and media narratives, rather than sustained dominance on the court. Before making those kinds of statements, she'll need to solidify her reputation through consistent performance and continued growth in her game. Coaching changes alone won't define her trajectory. Her development, mindset, and on-court execution will ultimately shape where she goes from here. Angel Reese is reportedly working with David Alexander, LeBron James's trainer, as she looks to take her game to another level. Some fans are debating whether that kind of high-level training alone can instantly push a player into the very top tier of the sport or close the gap with a star like Caitlin Clark. While Reese focuses on refining her movement and overall fundamentals, Clark is also continuing to sharpen her shooting and playmaking, the skills that define elite guards at the highest level. Either way, Reese is clearly putting in serious work behind the scenes, even if opinions differ on how quickly that translates into on-court results. Clark, on the other hand, continues to build on an already elite offensive skill set that has quickly raised the standard across the league. Reese had a dominant run at LSU, but transitioning to the professional level brings a completely different pace, pressure, and level of competition. A lot of the online debate has started to exaggerate things, turning natural competitive narratives into extreme comparisons. At LSU, she was a standout, while Clark has rapidly become one of the most influential names in modern basketball. The conversation around both players often reflects bigger themes about development, impact, and how media attention shapes perception. But at the end of the day, Reese is still early in her professional journey, and only time will show how far her game can ultimately grow.
Well, that's the most we've ever lost in our life. I only lost 7 games in my last 2 years at LSU, so it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit.
Let's rewind to the 2023 NCAA Championship game. You remember that one? Reese made a taunting gesture, returning the "you can't see me" celebration back toward Clark during the game. It was one of those moments that sparked a lot of conversation, for better or worse. Clark still stood out as the leading scorer on the floor, finishing ahead of everyone, including Reese. Reese's moment briefly drew attention, but Clark remained focused on building her historic performance throughout the game.
No one like Caitlin Clark. In the history of the
Speaking of statistics, Reese's WNBA debut drew plenty of attention and sparked a lot of debate around expectations and performance. Caitlin Clark has been lighting up the league, averaging 19.2 points per game while also racking up assists like she's been in the pros for years. Meanwhile, Reese is averaging 13.6 points per game, nearly 6 points fewer than Clark. And let's not forget, Clark also led all rookies in assists with 8.4 per game, showing impact as a scorer and a playmaker in her first season. Now, let's shift the focus and talk about the Rookie of the Year conversation.
I still ask you about Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm cool. The pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm all right, cool. I could just hoop. So I don't know when it started to just break out where I was just in Rookie of the Year conversations. I'm all right, cool.
It's because you.
But wait, things get even more interesting from here. While Clark continues changing the game with every possession, Reese's off-court presence has also started drawing a lot of attention. She signed a signature shoe deal with Reebok, a major milestone for any young player early in their professional career. Reese has also been sharing more of her lifestyle on Instagram, which adds to her growing personal brand alongside her basketball journey. At the end of the day, though, the real focus will always come back to the court, where consistent performance matters most.
But let's talk about money, because Reese has also become part of that broader conversation around WNBA salaries and financial reality. She's been open about her $73,439 WNBA salary and has spoken at times about how expensive everyday life can feel. That kind of discussion highlights the broader financial gap that exists in women's basketball, rather than anything personal. Meanwhile, Clark is managing her business side while staying locked in on basketball and continuing to focus on performance first. Now, let's zoom out and talk about this evolving landscape as a whole. Reese is also expected to take part in a 3x3 league launching in January 2025, featuring 34 of the world's best players. Yes, it's a major opportunity, with elite talent coming together to create an extremely competitive environment. She is projected to earn around $250,000 for the 8-week season, a significant increase compared to her $81,000 WNBA salary. And that's where the conversation gets more complex, because she'll be competing against players at the very top of the game. Some analysts argue her current production raises questions about readiness for that level of intensity. Others simply see it as part of the adjustment curve every young player goes through. And here's where the discussion gets even more layered. She is stepping into a format filled with some of the most skilled players on the planet. In that setting, attention won't matter nearly as much as execution once the games begin. If the goal is long-term growth, the real test will be how she adapts under that kind of pressure. Critics have already suggested the expectations may be higher than her current trajectory. At the same time, the league itself will be packed with proven talent at the highest level. So while she may gain valuable exposure, she'll also be measured very directly against elite competition. There is very little margin for error when you're facing players of that caliber. And ultimately, this opportunity may reveal both how far she has come and how much further she still has to develop to reach the very top tier.
I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of racism when it.
Here's a reality check. When it comes to professional basketball, Reese may speak about potentially surpassing Clark, but at the end of the day, that conversation still has to be proven on the court. Talk is one thing, but performance is what ultimately defines careers at this level. If you want to challenge the very best, you have to back it up with consistent results right now. Some critics feel that Reese's comments sometimes draw more attention than her encore production at this stage. Others argue that she is still developing the consistency needed to meet those expectations fully. Reese is still in that early phase of her career, where growth is expected, while Clark has already established herself as an immediate impact player. At the same time, it's important to recognize that both players are working and improving in their own ways. No one reaches the top of the game without putting in years of dedication and continuous development. Even elite training alone doesn't guarantee dominance without game-time execution and experience. It takes a combination of skill, discipline, adjustment, and long-term refinement to reach the highest level. As Reese continues refining her movement and overall skill set, the real test comes when facing consistent elite competition. That's where the game naturally separates developing talent from established stars. At present, Clark has the stronger overall resume in terms of production and impact. But this conversation is still early in both of their careers, and trajectories can evolve significantly over time. Ultimately, the debate around their comparison is ongoing, and the final picture is still being written.